So today we're going to be taking a look at how to make a basketball in Fusion 360. So right here I have an example right here, but this actually I will talk about in a little bit is actually not like a real kind of basketball. This is kind of a shortcut. But actually I'll just talk about that right now. So you can see in a real basketball, these lines right here, they actually go around here and they curve this way. But in this design right here, if we look at the top view, we can see that it goes in a loop like this. So this is actually not like a real kind of basketball. So there's a way to make the basketball design or the lines go here around and come or loop around this way. And so that's what this one right here looks like. I just haven't added any appearances on. So you can see it curves over here and curves down this way as well. So it's actually pretty straightforward once you understand what's going on. But we're just going to take a look at all the steps that you need to know, including this logo right here. And yeah, so let's get right into it. So we're going to first go into new design. I'm going to start off with the sketch over here. And I'm actually going to make some parameters. User parameters, I'm going to make the basketball diameter, which I believe is 238 millimeters. And I'm actually also going to add the groove width. So these are just two expressions or two parameters that I'm going to be using really often. That's why I want to make them into like user parameters, so I don't have to keep like remembering and typing in the numbers. I can just type in this name. And if I want to change, like say the groove width or something, or say like I got the basketball diameter wrong, I can just change it up here and everything in the design will be changed for me. Okay, so expression for the groove width is going to be about, I'm gonna say about 6 millimeters. So I think it's about 6 millimeters away. Hit OK. There are my two parameters right there, and now I can start. So I'm going to start with revolving a sphere. So I'm going to start with an arc, which has a radius of half the diameter, because that's what a radius is. So I'm going to do basketball diameter divided by 2. Hit enter. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Center point arc, basketball diameter divided by 2. Click right here and click over here. So now we're going to add a line to close off the loop. Okay. And just to make sure everything's good, not like that, we're going to add a coincident constraint on this line. Add a coincident constraint on this line and the origin. Once everything's turned black, everything's constrained, that's good. Okay. I'm going to finish sketch, go create, revolve, hit this, choose my axis, hit OK. Okay, so now we have our one body right here. Okay, I'm going to create a new sketch. This is going to be for the designs. All right, and I'm going to start over here. And what this design basically is, if you take a look at this over here, we actually can look at this. This is a little simpler to look at. It's actually just two kind of circular shapes extruded. I'll talk about this in a little bit, but you don't actually have to use circles over here. It can be really any conic curve. But for now, let's just try circles, and I'll go back and I'll show you guys how you can use another shape over here to create a different look. Okay, but first we're going to start with some circles. So we're going to create, actually, because we need it to go in two directions, loop around like this, we're going to actually need to create 4 circles. So we'll circle here, circle here, circle here, circle here. So they're all not constrained nor aligned, but that's what we're going to do right now. So first of all, I'm going to make them all equal, so they're all equal sized. So this is equal to this guy is equal to this guy, this guy is equal to this guy. Now I know all these three circles right here are equal to this, which means all 4 circles are equal to each other. Okay, now I'm going to make sure they're the same distance away from the center, or else if we do this, they're not going to be aligned. So draw a line like this, and this actually be a construction line. And I'm actually going to make all these construction lines right here because I'm going to do something a little interesting. right now we just need to make everything a construction line because these aren't actually going to be the profiles that we're going to be extruding. So continue to draw those lines. And we can see this is not horizontal, so I'm going to add the horizontal constraint on it, and also once again make it horizontal construction line. Okay, same thing with the other circles. Horizontal constraint, make sure everything is actually horizontal. Okay, so now it's good. But we just need to make sure all circles are the same distance, so we can do another equal constraint with all the lines. This is equal to this. This is equal to this, and this is equal to this. So now all the lines are equal to each other. And so you can see if I move the center point, they all move in unison. Okay, and next for this specific method, it's for circles, we're going to make the diameter of this the same as the diameter of the actual ball. So I'm going to dimension one of them to be basketball diameter, and that should be good. Okay, and the reason we have to do this is they need to be like tangent here, which I'll do in a second. But in order, if we don't do that, the end basketball is going to look a little weird and the lines won't be perfectly smooth. Okay, so right now I'm going to add the tangent constraint I was talking about earlier. So between this circle and this circle, and then all of them will become tangent since they're all equal to each other. And the lines, the distance between the center, the origin point, and each of the centers of the circles are the same. That's why all of them become tangent to each other. So make sure everything's black on your drawing, and that means everything's fully constrained. Then we can move on to the next step. Okay, so the next step is actually making the thickness of the groove. So we're actually going to go create an offset off of this line right here, and we're going to make it on construction. These are going to be actual profiles that we're going to be extruding. And so we're going to extrude half the groove width, or not extrude, we're going to offset half the groove width outside and half the groove width inside. And that's how we get kind of a smooth connection between the lines. You'll see what I'm talking about in a little bit. So we're going to offset by groove width divided by 2, enter. And by the way, if you want to, you could just do circles too. That works fine as well. But we also always make sure when you're offsetting from the original line. You can't offset and offset. Okay, so we're going to go negative groove width divided by 2. And so right here, this profile outside is going to be our groove. And we just do that 3 more times. So I'm going to go offset. It's going to be groove width divided by 2. Offset, offset, negative groove width divided by 2. Same thing here. Offset, groove width divided by 2. Offset, groove width divided by 2. Make sure it's negative. And last one. Groove width divided by 2. And negative groove width divided by 2. Okay. So it looks like this when we take a close look over here. You can see that the outside edge of the outside circle, right, matches and is tangent to the inside circle of the circle right next to it. And the inside edge of this same circle is also tangent to the outside edge of the other circle. And you can see that this center section right here, center profile right here, it's centered on the edge of the basketball right here. And that's what makes all the lines like connect together really smoothly. Say if we didn't have this to be basketball diameter, if we change it to like 200, so they're smaller now, you can see that same profile. Look right here. This profile is no longer aligned with the center of this profile, which is right here. It's no longer aligned with the side of the basketball, and so that will make it look kind of bad. And I'll show you after we extrude it what that actually looks like. Okay, so I'm going to change this back to basketball type. Okay, next we need to make the horizontal lines of the basketball. So, or like just these lines right here, this one and this one. So the horizontal grooves. So that's just going to be, I'm going to go a center rectangle. The center right here and out this way. The length doesn't matter as long as it's exceeding the outside of the sphere right here, but the width is or like the thickness, is going to be the groove width. And do the same thing, center rectangle over here. And so now this time the height, or this time the width, is going to be my parameter right here. Okay, and that's it. So these should be all the things that you need to be able to extrude it. And now let's finish sketch. And we're going to do something a little interesting here. So when we start extruding, we're going to just pick 2 of the circles and make sure you pick both of the lines, and those are going to be the ones that we extrude for one side. And for the other side, we're going to be extruding the other 2 circles and also both of the lines. So let's start with these 2 circles right here, the ones on the left and the right. I'm going to pick every profile. And this is why it's important that we made them construction lines, or else you'd have to choose each individual like little space that's separated by the line, and that's not that fun. So we got this circle, we're gonna get this circle too. Make sure you don't get the inside. Okay, and get the lines, these straight lines. And so this is going to be the first profile. And we're going to extrude it. And this is really important right here. We're going to change the operation to new body. Okay. And this is going to be important because we're going to do a split body later. So that we don't have like a kind of hole. If we did like a cut instead, it'd kind of work. You get the shape too, but you'd have a hole there. It doesn't look as good as if we split body. So I'm going to go hit OK. Take a moment. Okay, and so we can see, click on the second body right here. This is our second body, right? And I'm going to go back and turn on my sketch. I'm going to do the same thing except for the top and bottom circles this time. So extrude. Let's choose this guy, all these little bits. And the bottom. And the horizontal one. And just double check that we have everything. Okay, looks good. And I'm gonna go extrude out this way this time. I'm gonna do new body. So just make sure you don't extrude out the same way. So this is wrong. Make sure you extrude out to the opposite side of the ball. And hit OK. Now we have 3 bodies. 2 of them are the 2 things that we just extruded, and the first one is should be your ball. Okay, now we're gonna do a cut body or split body. We're going to choose split body under modify. We're going to choose the body that's split, which is our first body. Right, we just click on that or click on here. We're going to choose the splitting tools, which is going to be these 2 entire bodies. So when you're choosing it, make sure you select the entire body like this and not just like one face. So like a fail-safe way to do this is just to click on the 2 bodies like in the browser. So that way you know that you're actually getting the entire body. If we didn't do that, we would only get, say we only click the face, that would do that, and that's not what we want. Okay, so just make sure to click both of the bodies, and then just hit OK. Now we should have a bunch of more bodies. We can actually turn off body 2 and 3, which were the ones that we extruded earlier. So if you don't know what that is, you can just like click on it. You can see it's underlined, and now that's that body that you want to turn off. Same thing with this one. Okay, body 2, turn that off. And so now all these different pieces, you can see over here, are all different bodies right here. So we can take a look at the inside. This is what it looks like. Right, and so you can see it's a really smooth connection over here on the outside, but on the inside, it's just a little different. Okay, and let me show you guys what happens when we don't make the diameter line up. So remember I changed this to 200 earlier. We change this to 200 now. Finish sketch. It's going to be bumpy right here. That's because it doesn't exactly align in the center of the 45 degree of the ball. So we need to make sure this right here is the basketball diameter. Okay, and we're gonna finish sketch. All right, and I'll go back to the other way on how you can make these lines right here after we completely finish the basketball. So next step is to make the logo. Okay, and we're gonna create a sketch over here on, say like we want the logo to be on this section right here. So I'm gonna create a sketch. It's kind of parallel to that. It's right here. I'm going to go to Google and say like Spalding logo. Get an image, and we're going to turn it into an SVG. And it looks like this one's already an SVG. So I'm actually just going to take this. I'm going to right click, open image, a new tab. Make sure it's SVG. Okay, it's svg.png. That does not seem correct. So maybe we can just save image as it is. Okay, it's still going PNG. So it's okay. We're just going to download it. Call it Spalding logo. Save. I'm gonna go to a SVG file converter. This thing's like really OP. I use it a lot just to convert any like black and white kind of image into an SVG. So I'm gonna drag this over here and start conversion. And make sure you don't press any of those ads. Those are all fake. Don't press that. Don't press this. Okay, so now it's done, right? So we can click download. It comes right here. Not gonna allow it to download multiple. So now I'm gonna insert my SVG right here. We just have to navigate, insert from my computer. I'm gonna go to downloads where I put it, and we can see SVG. Right, it must be an SVG file. You can't do a PNG file because that's just an SVG file. And right here we can see it gives us this. So I'm actually going to flip it horizontally. I'm just gonna arrange it until I think it looks good. So we can use this button right here to scale it, and this button to drag it. And to say that's about good. It's probably not like perfect, but it's good enough for this demonstration. So we hit OK. Now we have like a profile, so we can extrude that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna extrude. We can actually turn off bodies, and to be able to choose the profile, click this, all these profiles, and I don't want these inside ones because those are not part of the actual lettering. Okay, and I'm gonna turn the bodies back on, and I'm going to. There's a few ways to do this. We could do the same thing that we did over here. Do a new body and then split body. We can do extrude from object. So we can do this. Kind of like, I don't know how to say this, but oops. Wow, it's really laggy. So maybe something like thinner like this, maybe like -2, like 2 millimeters thickness on there or something. Like that's viable too. Or you could go like kind of inset and have it go inside like this. So you can cut it inside like that. For simplicity's sake, let's just go. I'm just gonna go with this. Hit enter, and it's gonna be my kind of logo right here. And actually, I don't want it that deep. I'm gonna make it -1, or just 1. Okay. All right. So there's our logo on the ball. Looks pretty good. Now we're gonna add some texture. So go under appearance, and there's actually fabric right here, and we can use this to our advantage because we can put any kind of image that we want here. So we can put like a basketball texture on here, and that'll work pretty well. But just so we can see what it looks like, I'm gonna first drag this onto here. See that this is what it looks like. And it's like kind of shiny right now, which looks a little weird. See if we can turn down reflectance, increase roughness a bit. Okay, still looking kind of shiny, which is interesting. But I don't really want to use this, so I'm gonna find an image online. Maybe like basketball texture. Okay, just choose an image that I think looks like pretty good. All right, this one looks like, oh, there's a watermark there though. I don't want that. I don't know. Okay, I don't know why this is so hard. All right, let's just go with this one. So I'm gonna right click, open image, new tab, so we just have the bigger version. Right click, save image as, or however you guys do that on Windows. I'm gonna call it basketball texture. Put it like, I don't know, here. Oh, okay, I already have one there, just replace it, it's fine. Now I can go over here, I can double click on my texture, go advanced. Now I have my image right here. So I can go click over here. Then I can choose my basketball texture, hit enter. And this is what it looks like. So right now it looks like really small, which is not correct. So we need to adjust the size. Adjust the sizing. Okay. So if we click on this right here, we should get like this panel here. So we need to figure out what the actual size of this would be. So in like relative to this image. So we can just try changing some numbers. Okay, I don't know what I did here. Okay, so maybe like 50 by 50. So 50, 50, hit done. Oh wait, that actually makes it smaller. Because we need to say that this is maybe like 200. Like that maybe. Done. Okay, so we can see that a lot of it. Oh no. Okay, just like lost that. Let's try that again. So I actually thought 200 was a little bit big, so I'm gonna go with like 280 or 180. Done. Hit apply. We can cancel it. This looks like decent, I guess. So I guess it's okay for now. And we're going to now add some more color to the edges or the grooves. And that I'm gonna use like, we're just gonna go with black paint. It's always trustworthy for me. Okay, and we're gonna color faces only because we need to color the Spalding logo. Get all these. Last one. Okay, and so there have pretty cool basketball that goes like loops around this way, loops around that way as well. And it's like legit. Yeah.